Welcome to my workshop on your resume. So let's start by talking a little bit about what's really important in your resume and what stands out the most. So one of the things that you really have to remember is that you have just a few precious seconds to capture the attention of your reader. So it's really important that you shape the content on your resume so that they read first the things that they are the most interested in. So think about the perspective of the company that you're applying with, the hiring manager, the recruiter, all the people that might be involved in the process. What are they going to think is most important on your resume? And you want to present that information to them first and give them the most content about those pieces of your resume. So the words that you choose are extremely important. The order that you put them in is extremely important. And then the emphasis you show to those words is extremely important. So using things like bolds, italics, underlines, all caps, those type points of emphasis should be used only for your most important details on your resume. The main goal of your resume is to help you stand out and to show the reader, the hiring manager, the recruiter, why you are a unique and special candidate for this position, why they should call you. You meet or exceed all the things that they are looking for, and you have separated yourself from the other candidates in the pool. So those are important things to remember. The summary is actually a great tool to use for helping the reader to see how you're a unique and different candidate. So after you've done all of the detail on your resume, you've written down all the different things that you've done, your work experience, your technical skills, your courses, your projects, your leadership experience, all the different things that you would want to detail on your resume. You're going to look at that, you're going to look down at that piece of paper, and you're going to see, what have I said about myself? What are the most important things here that I want to emphasize to that reader? And when you think about the job too, where do you match up? So focus on 3 things. This summary can really help you to put those points forward to help guide the reader throughout your resume, help keep them reading once you've engaged them. So 3 things that you want to make sure you include: information about your skills. What can you do, basically? What are the tools that you bring to the table? So skills and knowledge. Experience. What have you done already? What are the accomplishments that you have completed? And then 3, interest. What do you like doing? So within the field of computer science, there's certainly a number of tracks that you can go down if you want to work in networking, or you want to work in data security, or you want to work in software engineering, whatever it might be. You want to help your reader understand that. When they see those terms at the beginning of the resume, that you have identified an interest area that meets who they are, then they know that you're a really engaged employee. You're going to be somebody that's going to give their all to the job, that kind of thing. And then you're going to provide some supporting evidence for why you'd be a good fit for work in that field. But basically, you're making a logical argument for why you're a good fit for this position and guiding the reader to find particular information on your resume. In terms of writing papers, which I know college students are well aware of, it's like your thesis, really, for your job search. And you're going to provide that supporting evidence to prove what's in your thesis. So if you think about it that way, think about it analytically, hopefully that helps you make it maybe not quite so confusing. And then when you go into writing about your experiences, if it's in an internship or full-time work experience, or your projects even that you've had in school, you want to make sure that you're focusing on accomplishments. So turning your tasks into accomplishments is really an important thing. So TAR, there's 3, that's an acronym we can use here. So the first thing to do is write down those tasks. That's the easy thing to do. You automated testing, you developed an application, whatever it might be. Then you have to describe that action. How did you do this? What skill did you apply? Did you use Java to develop the program? What was it that you used? And then finally, the results. So tasks, action, results. Those are the 3 points there. So detailing those results just, briefly, but how did the software perform? Did you improve the performance of the network or whatever it might be that you're working on? How did it perform? Who did it impact? So anytime you can quantify that information, that's really helpful and does show your accomplishments. So in particular, projects and courses are often a real point of emphasis for graduate students. It's your most recent training, the most recent qualifications you've been adding to your resume. So of course they're very important, and typically they can help show your focus in a particular domain within your field. So they are quite important. The challenge I think you face is that quite often you have quite a number of classmates who are also taking the same classes and completing the same projects. So it becomes challenging to make your resume stand out and seem different than those of your classmates. So you have to really think carefully about those. Which ones you choose to include is very important. And then, of course, when you're describing those projects, making sure that you use that TAR method that I just described to turn those tasks into accomplishments. You can also put them in a particular order to show I'm really interested in software engineering, so here are the things that are most relevant to that. I'm going to give you that information first. And then you're going to round out the details of your training by providing the additional courses and projects maybe that you choose to include closer to the bottom. So sometimes I think students have a question about how specific they should be on their resume. You can kind of think about it like a funnel, and up here at the top where it's at its widest point, that's the content in your resume. So you're giving a lot of information, a lot of things can come through up here at the top of your resume. So pretty broad, very brief information, but lots of different details here. In your cover letter, you're going to be a little more specific. So you're going to share specifics about maybe 3 or 4 different things that you want to really emphasize to that reader, kind of similar to your summary. So you might be fleshing out that summary from the resume a little bit more and saying, here are the 3 points I want you to know about me, because here's where I really connect with your job. So when you get to that cover letter, you're being really specific to that particular job or jobs in particularly software engineering. And you know that typically these are the skills and strengths you really want to emphasize when you're applying for those software jobs. So that would be something I think to think about there. And so you're going to give evidence linked to that skill. So I'm a skilled software developer, including 3 projects in graduate school, as well as 2 years of full-time work experience prior to my study at NC State. So that would be a quick way of helping the reader see the evidence for how you have that skill or qualification. And then at the very bottom of the funnel, you see the most specific information. So fewer stories to tell, but really in-depth stories to tell here at this point. I really enjoy software engineering. For example, there was one time when I independently created my own program because I was really interested in doing work in this new programming language, something of that nature. So you can see throughout, we're starting with the task, action, result here, going into more detail here in the cover letter, and then finally really telling a specific story in the interview. Once you have a solid draft together of your resume, it's really important then to get feedback. And that doesn't always have to be from folks like myself in Career Services. We certainly are very, I think, good at helping you see, helping you refine what you write, and also helping you look at the overall format of your resume. And we really take an approach that is reflective of the opinions of many people that we've heard over the years. So I think we try to help you find that middle road, that middle ground where you can be as broadly marketable as possible, because we want you to have as much success as possible. But there is such a wide variety of opinions on resume writing. And so it's really important for you to know that. And one of the things I think that us in Career Services really try to do is when we have programs and we have an opportunity to get employers in front of you, we really want them to give you their opinions to you. And that's just so you can see here's the variety of what's going on out there, and why, one formula might really be successful at one company, but not really at all at another. And so hopefully you're going to learn how to scope out who your audience is, who is this company that's your goal organization, or what field in particular is your goal, and what's a good standard for that particular field. So that's really, I think, where getting feedback helps, getting opinions help. Certainly, I think even just trading with your friends and taking a look at each other, your documents, because I think it's helpful to see if it does really look like that of your peers, or if you are really standing out as a unique candidate. And I think you all can give each other hints because you know what was done in those projects and in those courses and that kind of thing better than anybody else because you're living it. So certainly the comments of your peers are helpful, as well as people who are in the field, both on the technical side and on the HR side, and certainly in the career services side. I am happy to offer that perspective as well. So I just have a sample here to go over briefly. Here is that summary of qualifications I was talking about, the education section, the courses, technical experience, projects, and technical skills. So even the labels of the sections can be influential for you in the order again. What do you think is most important? That kind of thing. But the overall format is clean here. It's easy to read quickly, and that's really a point of emphasis for you always. Hope you got some good knowledge today as you were listening to and watching my resume talk. If you have any questions, please do feel free to follow up with our office.